Hey everybody, Demo here with our Mythic Loomithar kill. We just killed this on Wednesday. Took us about around 40 pulls, roughly. We had some pulls in week 2 and we ended up killing it week 3 with the 3% damage and healing. This boss is definitely a step up from the first two. So my goal here is to give you guys any tips and tricks that we learned from the boss and that I learned from like raid leading it to hopefully cut down on your pull count and make your progression faster. With any of my guides, that's my goal, is more of late to mid CE guilds versus like, watching high-end progressing guilds that end up just gaming things and ignoring some mechanics, whereas guilds down in these middle rankings and late rankings have more issues. So let's get right into it. The first thing I'm going to show here is WoW utils. If you're not using this already, you should use it. I don't really know how you do the pylon soaks without WoW utils, so set this up where you can get pylon soaks for your group and you can have backup players and you don't assign the tanks. So it doesn't really matter what you assign. We kind of just, I think we moved one of our warlocks in one of the positions, but not 100% necessary. And then here for the phase 2 soaks, I ended up putting, you could just say in game odds and evens, but let the WeakAura do its job. WeakAura is going to put on a big thing on their screen that's going to say soak now, right? And if you don't fill this out, it won't say that. So I put this as odds and evens in our group within game, but I also just copied it from here. So I just, whoever is in, the odds here in game, I put them in groups 1 and 3. Whoever was evens, I put them in groups 2 and 4. That way the WeakAura would also work and match. So whatever your writer's preference, but I just wanted to use the WeakAura. So after you set that up, you're pretty much ready to go. You can copy these markers that I have down. I don't think it really matters. I didn't copy anybody from any other video I saw. I just put these down. And yeah, there's some big parts on this fight that are much more difficult. And the first part is that the tanks are going to get 2 frontals and they have to hit each of the waves. And the waves need to be killed down. I would say your first 5 pulls, just tell everybody to swap. I don't care if you lose damage. I don't care anything. You just need to see more parts of this fight and more people need to learn how to soak and get through all that. So that's the first thing I'd say is first couple pulls, have the melee swap and all range every single time swap. Once the first one gets down to 50%, have the range swap to the back one. That way they can get started on it a little bit. Okay. The second part is the tangled web that goes on the 4 players, the debuff. It hits like a truck. And for the most part, your group's going to be very poor on their web damage. It's going to be very poor. It's going to be slow. Okay, and that's just how it's going to go, or especially early pulls. And so their stacks are going to get high. The highest we probably got is like 16, 17, 18. Now with that in mind, every player has a defensive. The first set with Lust, it'll be fine. They won't have to use a defensive. After that, you're probably going to do with either 5 pylons or 6 pylons. That's either 16 or 20 sets of the webs on the players. So every single time, and you'll see this in the video, when they got to 8 stacks, I would tell the people to use a defensive. If they're defensive, most defensives last about 8 seconds. That pushes them up to 16 stacks, and our survivability went up 100% basically when I started calling this and helping the group. That was the biggest pain point, was that people were dying with their webs because they were just not using a pre-defensive. They would use a defensive at like 16 stacks or 15 stacks, and then at that point, you're already dead. Like, there's no point. The other part is we have 2 warlocks in our group and 2 mages. Warlocks need to pre-position pre-position and reposition their personal portals. So they can break it, and mages as well. They can blink through. Your monks can do the same, and anybody with blinks or displacements, they can get through the web and break early. That can really put some pressure off. So I'm going to start the video here and talk through it a little bit. But for the most part, phase 1 is the toughest. That's why we lusted on pull, and I think we canceled pull here. I don't want to skip too much. Okay, pull 10. But yeah, we kind of have a melee heavy comp here with 3 DKs, rogue, warrior, paladin. So we're a little melee heavy. I would have liked maybe 1 more range, but it worked out. I ended up having one of our DKs always swap. And so those pylon soaks will come in, and those people know where it's at. I take the first frontal, and we know that our first break spot is going to be for Skullish. That's where we're trying to break the webs. And then we have our range plus 1 DK always swap to the tangles. And we try to get these damage down on them. And you can see already, I'll pause here, these 4 players, Tariq, Soneka, Nakri, and Syrup. Every single time that these debuffs came out, I called their name even though the WeakAuras tells them, and I told them when they're going to use a defensive. So I'm watching this part right here at the raid lead. I'm saying once they get to 5 stacks, I'm starting to say, all right, you're going to use a defensive in 3, 2, 1, now defensive, and that would be at 8 stacks. So as soon as they hit this 8 stack spot, they'd use a defensive. Now in this first set, I don't have them because as you can see, we only get up to an 11 stacker. That's it. Because it's in Lust. It's going to die really quick. They're going to be fine. Okay. So then, like, that's what I was saying. You now only have either 16 or 20 webs left to deal with. And that's what the majority of the time is going to kill people. So the other thing I'm calling is the tanks are marked right here. And I'm just saying, watch the tanks. They always know that Demo's first. They always know that I'm first. So watch the blue marker. Don't be by me. As you can see, no one's on me. And I'm looking. I have to move just a tad. The other good situation, I think a better situation, but I could have soaked, or CBL, our other tank, could have soaked Moon after this, right? So he's soaking Moon because the frontal went, or sorry, Star, because the frontal went to Star. So that's a tank call that they can do. There's a better example I have later in the fight. The second set, for some reason, nobody has cooldowns or anything. This was always a bad set. So I usually said like melee, get on it quick too. And then again, ShamWow and Bear use the defensive now because they're at 8 stacks. And now look at their health. They're barely ticking. Now when they start to get up a little higher, it's really starting to hurt. So, but we're at a break point. Don't cheese that like the big AoE purple circle. We've had early deaths to it. I said just wait for it to go off. Don't try to like blink in at the end or like, you know, try to charge in. Just let it go off and then go. Your extra 0.5 seconds isn't worth the wipe. So we go here and we kill this one. This is one that I can soak. So I'm soaking here. So I just called out, the tanks are just calling out that I can soak. And I obviously got off it, which was another player. That's fine. Miko, Lurie, Girl, and Quick, they're at 6 stacks. I call defensives now. And if you can look at their health, they're definitely not taking as much as before. So they're living and they get through. No problems. I'm also watching high stacks. I might throw a little Vivify on them. My free Vivifies hit for 2-3 mil. Anything I can do to keep the group alive. So just things that I'm trying to help out as well as a tank. Rinse and repeat here on phase 1. But again, this is the important part. You start to get more soaks and do not use defensives. Oh, the one part I didn't say on the soaks is we went for 8 stacks. Apologies about that, but we went for 8 stacks, and then the person that was soaking would get out. The person that was going to soak next should be in front of the person. So this person most likely is going to soak next. So this person, when they move out of the way, it goes directly into them. At first, we had some people standing off to the side, and that's just no good. So when this person leaves, well, the beam's going to go right into the boss. So you want to make sure that the person is standing in front of them. That way, when this person says, okay, I have 8 stacks, I can leave. So that's another good point. Some people took a few more than 8. Just depends. They shouldn't be using defensives on them. 8 stacks is not that many. That's good enough to spot heal. Webs come out again here right after the second entangle. So I'm looking. Seneca, Tarek, Nakri, and Dev. You need to know within your group who is your swishy players. Usually it's the shamans, and it could be the priest, whether they've used dispersion or not. He had a void elf racial, so he blinked it off quickly. And we're just watching these people. So we do the 5th pylon set here. This is pylons 5 or pylons 4. This is pylons 5. So this is pylons 5. We do this one, and we're going to skip number 6. So as you can see, I'm pointing right now at green, and I'm calling get off of green. I'll soak it. So I'm going to bait the frontal here, and then I'm going to soak it the whole time. So that's like just a good communication from your tanks that they can soak it. That also saves up some time and some damage for them. So these ones, again, just making sure even our damage, like it could be better, right? It's close. It's tough. These purple puddles, people are saying they're baited on range. I don't think they're baited on range. I think they're baited on melee too. So it's kind of bait, but again, stacks are at 15, 14, pretty normal. They just got to use defensives at the right time and watch themselves. We're at 54% right now. This last set, this is a good one for the tanks to go on the backside and soak these 2. All 4 should be activated, and tanks will soak 2, and you're skipping everything. You're at 53%. If you're not going to be able to skip this, just keep damaging the boss and do the things like normal. 6 pylons, just do it like normal. As you get later, though, you'll be able to skip more and more of these. So tanks are just hitting this, and the frontal doesn't matter. Nobody killing any pylon, we're just pushing the boss. All mechanics, they just end. Now, the beginning of the phase, we want to start, first puddle gets put in the middle. We'd like another puddle around to the left of green, another puddle to green, and then that leaves our whole backside open, right? I don't want it to play too much in I call this the hallway. This is the hallway, which is between the web and the boss. I don't want to play too much in there, but if we can start our first couple, that gives us a little bit more room at the end. So another big point is you're pretty close to about 4 minutes into the fight. Make sure that people are holding cooldowns for the damage amp. This damage check is tight. Most people wipe at like 15, 10, 5%, whatever it is. So you just got to make sure that you have people have their 2 minutes, have their 3 minutes, all cooldowns at this point. And then whenever the second pots come up too, just use them on the second usage of your second cooldowns. So second pots are in about 1 minute. We're exactly 4 minutes into the fight right now. Everybody should be popping second cooldown, or 2 minutes basically. So my group is first soak, and then it's pre-spreads. So I'm reminding the range. Start backing up already. tanks, you can always go underneath the boss just to give more room. First one doesn't matter too much. So as you can see, CBL is going to try to pull this boss a little bit towards green. Or I told him keep it here, and I think I'm going to take mine towards green. His group goes there. My group's to the right still. We're kind of in our groups. My group's to the right. His group's to the left. I'm going to pull the boss just a little bit. I'm going to go underneath to give that extra room. And these first 2-3 sets, we don't use any defensives, no personals, no health pots, no nothing. My group's going to take it right here, and there's going to be another Alkane Outrage. We've already dealt with basically 3 of them, and we've taken up very little room, so this is good. Groups should now pre-spread. We're calling pre-spreads. Tanks underneath the boss. DKs can also pre-AMS and remove it. So now we've done 3 of these. That thing hurts. So now I'm going to start calling personals and health stones and health pots on the 4th one, right? So right here we're going, and I'll say, okay, pushback's coming in, everybody personal now. So everybody personals, and I'm going to go underneath the boss. And then, we're pretty healthy right here. The next one I'm going to call everybody to health stone. I'm pulling the boss farther a little bit and then coming back to my soak group. I'm just doing tank things here. And then we got to make sure we pre-spread every single time. After a wave, people always got to be thinking pre-spread, pre-spread. Again, tanks underneath just helps out the group. And this will be everybody use a Hellstone now. So everybody Hellstones now. Make sure we're tapped for it and we're good to go. And then the next one will be, again, defensives plus health pots. We're at 14%. We're just emptying the bag. So this will be, okay, guys, any defensives that you have on this, use defensives, and then I'll call a Hellstone or health pot once everybody gets pretty low here. So I'm looking and I say, okay, everybody health pot now. And then you can see a couple people's health pot jump right there. That's pretty much everybody using health pot. So that keeps us alive. At this point, we're at 9%. I got my wave group. We still haven't entered the hallway. The hallway is what I call, the webs and the difference there. But now we're kind of doing a front to back group. So I'm going underneath again. CVL's group will go in the hallway there. So they're going to be taking it in the front, and we're going to go behind. And then we're going to do a big move afterwards if the boss lived. So I can pause afterwards. What would have happened afterwards is this group would have kept going forward, and then our group, we had like a 2% wipe where we did this. This group goes forward, and we play backwards. And that's pretty much how we do one of the last soaks. But this boss will get easier and easier each week as you get more damage, and that check becomes easier. And then it might even be a lost phase 2, possibly. I don't think so. I think getting through phase 1 is good. The 33% damage amp in the end is good. So, yeah, that's kind of my Loomithar thoughts guide. Don't feel down about this boss. This boss is definitely it's a step up. It's more challenging. There's a lot of damage that goes out. It ramps up. So, just keep pulling, get people familiar with it, and you should be able to down it pretty quickly. So, hopefully this helped. Any comments, just put them down in the below. I'll try to answer as best I can. Like and subscribe, and hopefully see you in the Forge Weaver Mythic kill shortly. See you guys.